Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm happy to invite our film director, Dani Rosenberg, to the stage.
Hello. Thank you. Oh.
All right, awesome. So what inspired you to create this film to start with?
Okay. So, first, I will maybe start with my ambition to write actually a love story. That was the first motivation. But very fast I understand that I cannot write a love story in Israel, in Tel Aviv, while the violence just getting through the window inside my room. And then I understand that actually I want to write about someone that want to love, want to have a personal life, but he just cannot do it because the violence somehow keep him into this circle of blood. And he wants to get out, but he cannot do it. So that was like the first motivation. And then I make it a story, but that was the motivation. Someone that want to change his destiny. But actually his identity catch him in the end.
We actually had an internal debate even on our team. Was he more so running away from the violence and all that, or was it more centered around his relationship and wanting to, being the kid that wants to be focused on his girlfriend and go and visit his girlfriend?
As I see it, he starts to run away without knowing what will be the direction. Like his legs start to run, and then his whole body, and only then he starts to build a story. And the first narrative he creates is the narrative of the boy that is coming back home, and that maybe is the reason I shot it like a really classic mythological scene, with the dog and the house and so on. But the house is empty. And then, so he built another story, the story of the return to the loved one, like Ulysses and so on. So it's also a mythological story. But also the door is closed in his face. So he finds himself, that all the narratives just falling down one after another, and he, in the end, just I see him as a lonely cowboy that his horse is his bicycle, and the streets of Tel Aviv is the urban desert.
So it's right in the middle, I guess, of what we were debating. I'm going to welcome. Just kidding. You mentioned at the beginning that you wanted everyone to keep both eyes open in different ways, like one with a lens from pre-October 7th and one after. What has the response been around the film since before and after, I guess?
Yeah, so, after October 7th, I was thinking that we should just erase the film, I was in Busan, in South Korea, in October 7th. I just landed there and opened my phone. It was at noon, and a couple of hours later, there was a screening for a lot of Koreans, like thousands, and I saw the film, and I shot in real places. So I've seen Zikim. It's a place near the sea. When he's running away, that people were still fighting there. People were dying there while I was screening the film, and I felt that reality just crash my film, crash the fiction. And and also when I returned back to Tel Aviv, so the street was completely empty, and not like the film. So I said, I called my co-writer and tell him, well, we wrote the future, and the future became the present, but it's not what we wrote. So what is it? What, in what dimension is the film? But then a couple of things had happened. First, after a couple of weeks, Tel Aviv just woke up, and became exactly like the film. People were partying everywhere, and try really like to forget what is happening only 1 hour from Tel Aviv. It came to one day, some good friend of mine called me from the restaurant that we shot the film in, and he told me, there was an alarm, and we went to the same room. So I called the restaurant owner, that is a friend, and he told me, I got the idea from the film. So, and another thing that happened, I've told you before that the Israeli premiere was in Haifa in October 5th. And I have a student, and I'm teaching also cinema in Jerusalem, the same Spiegel School. And I have a student that showed the film, that saw the film in Haifa, and then went to Gaza as a reserve soldier. And he returned back to Tel Aviv, and he called me and told me, look, I'm Shlomi. I feel like I'm the hero of the film, that I'm walking the streets and no one understands what actually is going on there. And no, I cannot cannot actually experience what is happening in Tel Aviv. And I got these messages from another couple of people I know. So I started to make a small screenings in Tel Aviv, and soldiers came and told me that they want to see the film, because I didn't know if it's maybe it would be more painful for them. I didn't know. They didn't want to hurt anyone, and told me it's good for us because you tell the story that we are actually scared and we don't know what is the right thing to do, and the media, the Israeli media, doesn't tell it.
Has it been a tough sell to audiences after, or has it been?
So we were waiting, and the film actually distributed only before a couple of months in Israel. It was not a big success, but I think that, because what's happened in the last couple of months in Israel, people understand that this war should end. And I wish, yes, I wish this war will end as soon as possible. So the atmosphere changed.
To go back to the content of the film, how did you decide to end it the way that you did?
Actually, I shot another end.
Okay.
I shot another end that it like more closure. In the end, I shot. He returned back. I don't have it here. He returned back to his grandmother's house at dawn, and like he go to sleep with her in the bed, and the light is going on the window, and still it's like we understand there is no possibility for him, but there is something more soft in this end. And after the screening in Haifa, I missed it, and I called my co-writer, and I told him, let's return the end. But then after October 7th, I feel this is the right end, because this is the most painful end for me, and I think that's what we need now.
That really makes sense. The main actor, forgive me, what is his name again?
Ido Takwa, yes.
So he is just like an enigmatic classic teenage boy. He delivers
Yes.
so well. How did you end up casting him for the role?
Actually, I tried to find him, an actor for months, and I didn't find anyone. And then he entered the room, and he was spark. It was just he's just amazing. He's he has this gift. He's so talented, so devoted, and he really like a method actor. Like he's because we shot the film in a linear way, and I really see him change throughout the shooting. I really because he really he didn't sleep at all, and he ran all the time. Like every night we shot him running to somewhere, and I really see that in the end, the ending scene, he looks like more like a man than in the beginning.
He really does deliver so well. It's I was cringing, I was grossed out, I was laughing. It was really well done. We'd love to hear your questions. If we have anyone in the audience who would like to ask Dani a question. We have right in the middle up here.
Are there a lot of cases of soldiers vanishing or running away from the army? Is that a thing? We don't know, us Americans.
No, actually, it's not a thing. Especially not for soldiers in that age. There were many cases of regular soldiers. Yes, there were many cases of reserve soldiers, but regular no. Actually, also myself, I had this ambition or this desire to run away when I was a combat soldier, but in the end, I've done it, but only for a couple of hours, and no one knew about it. But but no, I don't know a lot of stories like this.
Thank you. Can you talk about the moral arc of the character? He starts running from violence and then winds up causing a lot of violence.
Yes.
And I'm also curious if that changed in your mind after October 7th. Thank you.
Yes, that's exactly the way I see it. That he tried to. I see him like an animal that running away from a forest that is burning, but doesn't understand that its tail is on fire, and she just bring the fire to the city. So this is like I want him to bring the violence with him, and but. Also, in the end, I think really in the last scene, something is fallen. It's the first time he understands the consequences of what he had done. And it's okay when you are 18 not to think about the consequences. It's okay to think about yourself. But when he's there and he see that people are paying in their life because of his action, so he want to die, but this is in the end. And I didn't want to give him this opportunity to die. That's why the truck is going to the side.
Thank you for letting us know that your dog is fine. No, but it's so weird. I don't even know how to begin. It's almost as if you knew, or something strange, that you had this film before October 7th. It's just so weird.
I have to say, people ask or told me about it, but I think it's not precisely correct, because many people knew that something is going to happen. we are sitting on the top of a volcano for years, and people from the left are talking about it, and from the right, and people from the kibbutzim, and October 7 is not a meteor that falls from space. What's happening you can say, since maybe the 67 war, and the occupation, and Gaza, and the Hamas, and Benjamin Netanyahu that gave, actually support the Hamas. So it's everybody, not everybody, but so many people knew it is going to explode in the end. And that's what happened in October 7.
I'll add on to that just as we finish up here that I was at the October 5th screening and experienced that. And one thing that's clear is, first of all, you see how close Gaza is to the Israeli settlements there, which makes it very clear that it made 2 days later, when I was reading the news, less than 2 days later, it was I just pictured that road that he took out of there, and that's exactly so. It's not unimaginable in some ways. Also, there was a cycle. Everything that I had seen in that film, even though it was about an unnamed war, these were things that we had seen before. There was nothing new there. It was places that we've been. This happens every few years. Usually without an October. Actually, the devastation of October 7th was the one thing that wasn't made a part of this. Everything else we've seen before.
Yes, and maybe another thing. The only thing that I not predict at all is that Israel will not do anything to return the hostages, because the story of Gilad Shalit, that maybe it was the reference for me. One soldier that Israel did everything to return him back. And look, we have the hostages now. They are still alive. They are suffering. And the Israeli government could let them get out, but they just prefer not to because of political reasons.
Excuse me, we're not opening it this way. Sorry. No, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep talking while you talk because you can't be speaking without a microphone. We want to have a civil conversation. Thank you. But I will say where I started all of this, which I was saying how this film humanizes soldiers and reminds us that the soldiers that we're seeing are often teenagers. And their brains are as developed as teenagers are, which we know is not like fully developed yet. And they make bad decisions, and all they care about sometimes is seeing their girlfriend, and they definitely don't want to be in a place where they can be killed. And this, I feel, has been so lost in this conflict. On all sides, there has been such dehumanization that we don't see the people there anymore, and forget that all these people have mothers, have fathers, and this film reminds us of that, and it is such an important film. And I thank you all for being a part of this, and thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline, for a fabulous Q&A, and for chipping in. Thank you.